Hi there. This video is a brief introduction to our appointment booking prompt. This might be something you're already familiar with, but we've made some recent changes and I want to explain how it now works. So you may have it configured in your practice so that when you retrieve a patient record, it pops up immediately, or it might be something you're used to looking out for. This green A up here, all this information on the home screen, either of those mean there is an appointment that needs booking, and clicking it will tell you what needs booking. In either scenario, whichever way you're working, we'd really recommend try and get into the habit of retrieving the record before you book an appointment. Patients might think they need a blood test when they actually need a full annual review, or vice versa. And it's always better to be using our system because it will make sure you book the right thing, it will record it in the background, it will also help the system to know, does the patient need follow-up reminders or is everything in place? So if I click this green A, it's first working out what's the most pressing thing, I guess, to advise the patient to book. And it's doing that by looking at what invites have they been sent recently. So this particular test patient has been invited recently for their COVID vaccine. So this is the one that's popping up now. If they hadn't had a recent invite, it just does it purely on kind of what's most important. Obviously, a lot of patients only need one thing that might need booking or arranging, but some will need more. Most often, we hope you'll be picking the first option, book the appointment, follow the steps, and arrange the appointment for the patient. Obviously, there are times though when that's not possible. It might be that you've got it set to auto retrieve, but you are not actually speaking to the patient. And in that scenario, you would click unable to ask. And clicking unable to ask will also stop it from popping up anything else that might be due. There are other scenarios though as well. So perhaps, for example, you speak to the patient and they're not sure about their COVID vaccine, in which case you could click pause. That will then take you on to the next one if there's another one that's outstanding. And so then it's now working on what's the most pressing, what's the most important of all the things that the system's identified. This particular test patient never comes for their appointments. I keep putting things on their notes, and so not surprisingly, lots of things are popping up. So if you want to kind of see what else is there, if you click pause, it will skip that one and go back to the end. I'll go back to the next one, sorry. At any point at which I click unable to ask, it will stop displaying any more. I can also trigger it again if I want and go back to the beginning. So different options are there. If you have acted on these things, so for example, I decline the COVID vaccine, and then I click on the green A, obviously that one's not going to appear anymore because it's been dealt with. Just one last thing to just make you aware of. When you've done all these things, please make sure you save the record. Let me click unable to ask because I've run out of patience to keep talking to this patient. So yeah, now if I click save, anything that the system has identified, things that I've done, will be recorded. So it's best to get into the habit of clicking save rather than discard. You may then find you get this message, and that's just occurring because I've hit pause on some of those. You can just click save anyway. If you want to click resume, that would bring up the ones that you paused, but there's no need, just click save anyway, and job done.